Get the Guy by Matthew Hussey Book Summary. Part 1, Improve your chances and stop leaving your romantic life to luck. It's a game of chance to find the right guy. Most women do not participate in this game because they meet far too few men. Expecting the right guy to just appear is a flawed perspective that will limit your chances of finding romance. So, get rid of this mindset. Instead, focus on developing a lifestyle that allows you to meet more men. Give as many men as possible the opportunity to become your man. Part 2, Be a valuable woman. You are the first step in getting the guy. Look for a man with a lot to offer. Also, remember that men are also looking for high-value women. So, if you want to get the guy, you need to keep your own value high. Men have different tastes when it comes to women, so, high value can mean different things to different people. All high-value women have certain qualities in common. Self-confidence. High-value women are sure of themselves, which is their most important trait. Independence. Get a life before you start dating. Integrity. You stick to what you believe in. Being a woman. Don't stop being a woman. Let's look at each of these traits in more depth. Self-confidence. Hussey says that confidence is the first high-value trait. Beauty standards change over time. Any woman is beautiful if she has self-confidence, a way of making people around her laugh, and the ability to be sexually attractive. High-value women are sure of what they believe, what they want, and what they value. They make sure that others understand what they need. They also know when their needs aren't being met and will act accordingly. A high-value woman, for example, knows when she needs to leave a relationship because her partner isn't meeting her needs. High-value women can also see right through superficial signs of value because they know what they need. A high-value woman can never be won over by your looks, money, or status. When a woman lacks confidence, it's hard for her to pay attention to finding people who can meet her needs. Instead, they do things to make other people happy because they don't know what they want. Even though this might work for a short time, a confident man will always lose interest in a woman who isn't sure of herself. Independence. A woman with a lot of value places a lot of importance on being independent and able to take care of herself. She has a life she likes and does important things every day that make her feel passionate. You won't be looking for a man to fill a void in your life if you're a high-value woman. If you live a fuller life, you'll make better decisions. Men love independent women. They want to be a part of her great life, but they don't want her to become too dependent on them. Integrity. Integrity is about living up to a standard, no matter how hard it is. Integrity means that you know what your standards are and are comfortable with them. A woman with integrity doesn't change her beliefs just to make other people like her. When you have integrity, people can trust you. When a man trusts you, he will pay more attention to what you say and know that it is true. Integrity lets a man know that he can trust you to stick to your values. Femininity. Every man should believe that they have something to offer that women can't live without. He need not interpret this literally. But he must feel the emotional impact of it. It fulfills his innate need to give and guard. He is not required to be the main provider because of this. Just because a man has the inclination to give financially doesn't mean that he has to. Men are, in fact, emasculated when they think they have nothing to contribute. Once damaged, the masculine ego is challenging to repair. The high-value woman is confident and independent, but she also has the knowledge and self-awareness to acknowledge, and happily admit, that there are some things that only a man, her man, can contribute. Of course, she could hang out in a bar with her girls and yell, "We don't need men." She doesn't actually believe it to be true, though. When a man hears that you do not need him and that you are capable of doing everything, he does not perceive you as sassy and self-sufficient. He simply feels useless as a result of it. No man can stomach the concept of being with someone who doesn't need him. As a result, the foundation for these qualities is the problem of femininity. A strong, independent woman understands how important it is to show her man that she needs him in other ways. When you greet him when you get home from work, hug him tightly, give him a wonderfully sensual kiss, and say, "I truly missed you today," he will experience the thrill that appeals to the provider in him. Although he is aware of your strength, you still need him. Part 3, get a social life that benefits your romantic life. Saying yes to every invitation is the best way to make more friends. People will think you're more fun if you take this approach. On top of that, you're making it more likely that you'll meet high-value men. The best way to improve your love life and make yourself a more interesting and well-rounded person is to do more things with other people. When you're with other people, you should act a certain way. Working the room is the most important thing to do. So, when you walk into a social setting, stop and stand up. Look around you and notice the people you will be interacting with. If you stop at the entrance to this social place, people will also be able to see you. Lastly, adopt an owner mentality. Hussey got this way of thinking from a club owner he met who seemed sure of himself and in charge. You should act like you own your life and the decisions you make. If you are self-confident, you will give off the vibe that you are in charge of what happens in your life. Part 4, have the mindset of a chooser. The biggest mistake women make is thinking that men will talk to them if they like them. The truth is that it will be much harder for men who really like you to come up and talk to you. Hussey then says that the men who talk to the most women are the ones who are most likely to talk to you. This is probably only 1% of the population, and it's unlikely that these are men of high value. So, instead of waiting for this 1% to come to you and talk to you on the surface, you should think like a chooser. How to approach men. Learning how to approach men instead of waiting for them to come to you is the first step to becoming a chooser. Follow these steps to make a good start to a conversation. First, look at the man for no longer than half a second. Then, wait a little and look for a second time. During this second glance, smile. After grabbing his attention, make it easier for him to talk to you by getting closer to him. Be easy for the first 10 seconds of the conversation. This is the only time in your interactions with men that you should be easy. Give them 10 seconds to impress. Give him a chance. Other ways to get a man's attention are to ask for a favor or test him right away. If you ask a man for a favor, you will play to his pride. He will feel like a provider if he can help you. For example, you could ask him to hold your drink or hat for a second while you find your friends. When you test a man, you also play on his pride. Hussey gives the example of asking a man what they think you should order for a drink. Then, your answer should depend on what he picks. You can either say, "Great, you passed the test," or, "That's a shame, it would never work between us." Both responses will spark some interest. The first response builds his ego, while the second response offers a challenge. So, this man will then want to prove that things could work between you. Seed the date. Men are often afraid to ask a girl they like out on a date, just like they are afraid to talk to her. Even so, Hussey doesn't think you should just ask him out on a date. You should seed the date instead. Planting ideas in a man's head that make him want to ask you out on a date is called seeding a date. For example, you could say something like, "All my friends have been telling me to try this bar." If you plant the seed, then you create more opportunities to suggest a date. With the example provided, they will probably say they haven't been to the bar themselves. So, you can explain to them that you must be the only two who haven't been there yet and should go together. Part 5, don't play hard to get. Attraction is a subjective concept. But it is possible to create a formula out of the subjective components that it is always based on. And that is: attraction equals visual chemistry plus perceived challenge plus perceived value plus connection. Each of these factors combines to create what an individual is subjectively attracted to. So, aim to build on these components if you want to get the guy. Some relationship experts say that men like the chase, so if you act like you're hard to get, they'll be interested. Hussey says that being hard to get is a bad strategy in the long run. Men who like the chase are often men who don't have much insight. You don't want a man like this in your life. Part 6, don't wait too long to have sex. Hussey thinks that you shouldn't wait for a certain number of dates before having sex. This is similar to how he feels about being hard to get. If you take this approach, you'll be more interested in playing games. This takes your attention away from building a connection, which is the most important part of finding a partner. So, instead of worrying about how many dates you have, try to pay attention to when you feel a connection with someone. At this point, you should think about having sex with him. Men often use sex to feel like they belong. So, try not to wait too long before having sexual relations with a man you like. Still, some men will get too emotional or pushy if you say no to sex because you are not ready emotionally. These are called only for sex guys, and you don't need them. If this happens, you should stop seeing them. Premature obligation. Avoid feeling compelled to have sex with a man. Although you shouldn't wait too long, the right man won't mind waiting for sex if you do so tactfully. For example, suppose he calls you late at night for a booty call. You shouldn't deny him but suggest an alternative. Part 7, Why hasn't he called yet? Some people have the wrong idea about why a man hasn't called you yet. People think this means you scare him, he doesn't want to commit, or he only wants sex. The real reason is probably that you don't have anything in common or that you are too nice and doesn't offer any challenges. Boring. Too aggressive. Too desperate. Trying too hard to get attention, or too negative. Part 8, If you want to keep the guy, be the woman of his dreams. The best way to keep the guy is to be the woman he wants to be with. This is how. Tell him you're attracted to him. Your man should know that you get everything you need sexually from him. Make him feel like he is special and that you would always choose him. Make him feel like you need him and like he is protecting you. Being your own person makes you a woman of high value. But you should also give him a chance to make your life better. If you don't let him do this, you are putting him down. Help him and let him know you have faith in him. Part 9. If he's Mr. Right, there are two things to look for. The success of a long-term relationship depends on two things. Growth. Teamwork. If you don't agree on these two things, you won't get very far in the long run. Having these two things in common can help you get through problems and differences. Part 10. There's a better way to get a guy to commit long-term. As a high-value woman, you shouldn't just try to get high-value men, you should also try to keep them. Even so, commitment over the long term depends on you not giving too much too soon. Hussey uses a story from his own life to show what he means. He once told a girl that he wouldn't make a promise. In spite of this, he ended up with this woman not long after. He changed his mind because of how this woman acted when he said he didn't want to get married. She kept her cool and moved him down on her list of things to do. Hussey started to like being with her more and more, so he decided to make the relationship official. Final summary. As a man and relationship coach, Hussey knows how a woman can get the guy. The main point of this book is that you should strive to be a woman of high value. A high value woman has a lot of self-confidence, knows what she wants, and gets out there to increase her chances of meeting the right man. Physical beauty standards evolve over time. That said, self-confidence, a knack for creating fun, and being sexually alluring will always be beautiful.